Today, the Supreme Court delivered a landmark 6-3 decision, striking down Hawaii's strict concealed carry law. The court ruled that Hawaii's limits on where permit holders could carry firearms for self-defense were too broad. This decision is a major win for gun rights advocates, clarifying that licensed gun owners have the right to carry in public. The majority opinion, written by Justice Kavanaugh, emphasized that the right to carry a firearm in public is not a second-class right. States can no longer create so many gun-free zones that carrying for protection becomes nearly impossible. The ruling sets a new, clearer standard for state gun laws nationwide. Dissenting justices warned this could make public spaces more dangerous, but the majority insisted the Second Amendment protects carrying outside the home. For gun owners, this means more certainty, and likely more places where carrying is legal. States must now ensure any restrictions are specific and historically grounded, or risk having them overturned. Hawaii's 2023 law was among the nation's strictest, banning guns in a long list of public and private places, even with a permit. The law made carrying illegal in most public spaces, including beaches, parks, and any business open to the public unless the owner posted a sign allowing guns. This effectively made concealed carry nearly impossible, frustrating permit holders who felt their rights were being erased. Gun owners argued the law turned their permits into useless paper and forced them to leave firearms in cars, raising safety concerns. They saw the law as a backdoor attempt to undermine the Second Amendment. The broad restrictions quickly became the focus of a legal challenge. Gun rights groups argued that if almost all spaces are sensitive, the right to carry is meaningless. The case moved rapidly through the courts, setting the stage for today's Supreme Court decision. The ruling now forces states to rethink such sweeping bans. The fight began when local gun owners and the Hawaii Firearms Coalition sued, claiming the law violated their Second Amendment rights. A federal judge initially sided with them, blocking the law as inconsistent with America's firearm tradition. But the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals reversed that decision, allowing Hawaii's law to stand. This split between courts created a legal conflict that drew the Supreme Court's attention. The gun owners appealed, asking the justices to settle the issue nationwide. The Supreme Court agreed, hearing arguments from both sides: Hawaii defending public safety, gun owners defending self-defense rights. Today's 6-3 decision finally resolves the dispute, setting a national precedent. The ruling clarifies that states cannot use broad bans to undermine the right to carry. This outcome will impact similar laws across the country. This decision builds on two major Supreme Court cases, Heller 2008 and Bruin 2022. Heller established the right to own a gun for self-defense at home. Bruin expanded that right to carrying handguns in public, striking down laws requiring a special need for permits. Bruin also said a new test gun laws must align with the nation's historical tradition. States responded by making it hard to carry in public, designating vast sensitive places. Today's ruling says that strategy goes too far. The court reinforced that the right to carry can't be gutted by overbroad restrictions. This decision clarifies the limits of state power over gun regulation. The debate centers on safety versus freedom. Supporters of strict laws argue more guns in public mean more violence and risk, especially in community spaces. They see gun-free zones as essential for public safety and believe government must protect citizens. Opponents argue these laws disarm law-abiding citizens, making them vulnerable while criminals ignore the rules. They say permit holders are vetted and responsible, and that self-defense rights shouldn't end outside the home. Gun owners see broad bans as collective punishment, not real safety. Both sides agree on the importance of safety, but disagree on how best to achieve it. The Supreme Court's decision sides with those who believe the right to self-defense must be meaningful in public. The ruling doesn't end the debate, but it sets a clear constitutional boundary. The question of what counts as a sensitive place will fuel future legal battles. While Hawaii's law was struck down, New York's similar law remains, at least for now. The Supreme Court declined to hear a challenge to New York's law, letting a lower court's decision stand. Legal challenges to New York's law are still moving through the courts, and the justices often wait for more rulings before stepping in. New York's law was less extreme in some ways, and parts of it were already struck down by lower courts. The Hawaii case presented a clearer legal question, prompting the Supreme Court to act. Now, with today's ruling, New York's law is on shakier ground. Gun rights groups will likely use this new precedent to challenge New York's restrictions. The legal fight over sensitive places is far from over. Today's decision is a turning point for concealed carry in America. The Supreme Court has made clear that the right to carry in public is substantial and can't be undermined by sweeping bans. States with laws like Hawaii's will face intense legal pressure to change. Only specific, historically justified locations can be declared gun-free. For permit holders, this means less fear of accidentally breaking the law and more freedom to protect themselves. The ruling most affects everyday people, business owners, realtors, parents, who rely on concealed carry for safety. The debate over guns will continue, especially over what counts as a sensitive place. But for now, the Supreme Court has sent a clear message. The right to bear arms extends beyond the home. For millions of Americans, this is a landmark moment shaping their rights for years to come.